My name is Ryan Shanahan. Everyone calls me Skinny. That's what I'm usually known by. And I'm an audio engineer and a mixer. I first realized when I wanted to get involved in recording when I was about 14 months old. Of course not, no. I realized later on in life when I was a teenager, probably 16, 17 years old. I knew I wanted to do something in music, and I came from a family of musicians. It was kind of instilled in me what it took to become a professional musician if I wanted to go that route. And I realized that I just actually didn't have what it took. I realized I thought it was fun, I enjoyed playing an instrument, but I didn't really have the discipline that it took to take it professional. But I knew I wanted to do something in music, so I kind of dug around and was like, do I want to be an A&R? Do I want to do management? And that's when I started to discover, oh, well, there's the guys on the other side of the desk that are doing the work, that are putting together these albums, and that just kind of caught my interest. I grew up in Denver, in Colorado, and there was a local recording studio there where my grandfather actually used to record albums with his jazz band. And he happened to tell me that the owner of the studio was offering these one-on-one courses on just the very basics of audio engineering. So I ended up taking one of these courses, which lasted, it was 1 day a week for 3 months. And I took that, and that was like a crash course into everything studio, from patch bay to microphones to just all the basics. I completed that, and then I came back later on because they started to offer a Pro Tools course. And then it was the same thing. It was another 3 months, only a day a week, and it was just Pro Tools only. In the first half, I actually, I started out on ADATs, and that's what the course was, because that's, I guess, what the studio was running on at the time. And then we moved on, the Pro Tools course, but after that, everything I know, which is like this much, maybe this much, it was just done by just doing it, just being in studios and trying to learn as much as I can from people that knew a lot more than I did. Oddly enough, after I moved up into an assistant position at Interscope, even after engineering in other studios, it was just a different level of operating. I didn't have a whole lot of experience working on big consoles. That was something. And of course, at those studios, every room had a console, an SSL-G in one room, an E in another, a C200 in another room. You had to kind of jump around with what you knew. And a lot of that was just me learning on the fly. So Anton and I originally met through Interscope. I was friends with his to-be manager, not at the time. He came to me one day and he said, "Hey, I've got this amazing kid from Germany that we're thinking about signing. Would you be able to come in and work on these sessions?" Actually, the deal was that he already had an engineer at the time, because he had started working originally at the record plant when he first came to the States, and he had been working at record plant for a couple weeks. My job was just to basically just be an assistant and run the sessions from that point of view. We kind of just really clicked on a personal level to begin with, because we had very similar taste in just about everything. We had the same taste in music, what we thought was good or bad. We had the same taste in architecture. He went on tour for a few months, then came back and brought back the same engineer. And so I was back in the assistant role again, same thing. The engineer, who's a friend of mine, he ended up wanting to move back to Australia because he had been in LA for a couple decades and wanted to go do something different. When he left, Anton said, "Hey, do you just want to step up and engineer?" And that's how it's been for 10 years now, 11 years? It's been a while. There are so many records that I've been just so fortunate to work on. All the Zedd stuff has been a blessing for me. A project that a lot of people don't know about is an album that I mixed and co-produced part of, which was by the Naked and Famous. We worked on that for over a year, and unfortunately, it came out the second the pandemic happened, and there was a whole tour ready to go to support the album. It all got squashed because of COVID. Everything got shut down, so the album kind of never really saw the light of day. It was released, but it never got the exposure that it really deserved. I was definitely proud to work on that album. It was a lot of fun.